hello everyone, it's Emre here, and today's video is gonna be a recap as fast as I can do it for what was mentioned on the first anniversary DevStream for the first Descendant. I'm gonna try to do it as short as possible. Obviously, it's a lot of information. I think the stream lasted like 5 hours, something like that, probably a little bit less. Um, but yeah, with that being said, what is the first thing that they mentioned? Obviously, they showed the new enemy, the Legend of Breach, and the Axion Plains. Sorry, battlefield as we see here on the screen. We have a little bit of development footage, and what they mention is that Legion of Reach will generate defenses depending on what attribute kills them. So if you're using Freynat, they will generate toxic defenses uh, for them, right? However, there's a way to bypass this. They mentioned that if you destroy these green thingies over here, as you can see here on the screen, they will remove their enhanced defense towards the attribute, which will make them like easier to kill, right? So pretty much whenever we are like doing the action planes, we are gonna be wanting to destroy these things to kill them faster. If obviously imagining the defense is significant enough so that we need to kill these things, right? Because as we know right now, we are strong, so we will have to see once the game, well, once the update launches, right? They also added a new type of enemy, as you can see here. Hold on. Right here. As you can see here, they added the battleships, which will be um, obviously need to kill so that they stop spawning more and more enemies, the assault ships. However, they also mentioned that there will be certain descendants with certain skills that will be able to kill them way faster. We will have to see uh, which others, but they did mention that Kyle will be one of those. Obviously, as you saw on the background, it will be Haley for that, and as you can see here right on the screen, it's gonna be Kyle, the one that gets the honor to kill them with his or skill, the one that you fly. Uh, Sorry for the footage, but they didn't really like provide like super good things right now. They did it in a weird format. But yeah, they're also be gonna be able to be killed with like weapons and stuff like that. But they mentioned that some descendants will be better off killing them with their skills. They also released a trailer for a new enemy that is called, as you can see here, this is the footage. As you can see, this like scarab thingy. This will be the new enemy for the Axion Plains, obviously. And they also showed a little bit of gameplay. As you can see here, this is for the red version, but it's the same. It's the same thing, right? So as you can see here, this one looks like a little bit more aggressive than other previous bosses. But how strong will it be? I don't know. We will have to like actually do the test once we get to play. But as you know, we are like really strong. So I doubt that it will be like super strong, right? Okay, so as you can see here, we have everything that's gonna be available for the action planes. They call it the field system. We're gonna be having Wall Crusher, which is the like Field Colossus. We're gonna have hoverbike missions, which are obviously included once we get to the action planes. We're gonna be having supplies, daily quests, and this is the most interesting thing because they mentioned that the action planes will be all-in-one farming zone. As you can see here, we're gonna be able to get experience, arc tuning, augmentation cores, mutant cells, trigger modules, and blueprints. We're gonna talk about this after this, but they mentioned that if you are trying to target a specific blueprint, sorry, for a weapon, or if you're trying to enhance specifically one of your descendants, you're better off still doing the previous content like Sigma Sector or um, the Void Erosion Purge, right? Because those isolated wars are better than the all-in-one system. But still, if you are like an endgame player, the all-in-one farming area of the action planes will be better for you. And at least if you are already like having like a lot of build descendants. So that's what they mention. Sorry about that. That's what they mentioned for the all-in-one farming system for the Axion Plains. Okay, so here we are with the trigger module section of the stream. As you can see here on the background of them, what they mentioned about the trigger module is the next thing, right? So how will it work? What we're gonna need is we're gonna need our descendant to be level 40. We're gonna need level 40 arc tuning, so max arc tuning for our descendant. We're gonna need at least a bare minimum of 10 catalysts slotted in our descendant, so this pretty much. And we're gonna be able to open the trigger module slot or this orange one here with an item that we will get in action field once we meet those requirements. Now, how will this work, right? What is the trigger module? Well, they mentioned that now all the skills have a tag system, right? So what does this mean? Well, as you can see here on the screen, for example, Balbi, we have water play. Water play changes to ground dot and weaken. As you can see here, tag 1, tag 2, ground dot and weaken. But let's do it with the default one, bubble bullet. So what does bubble bullet get tagged for? Multi-explosive projectile, ground damage over time, and weaken. So the way that triggers modules will work is that now, let me skip a little bit ahead because they show an actual graphic that I can explain. So here, right? So for example, let's say that this one, particle conversation emitter. I know I skipped all the tags for the new skills, I guess. You can go on the stream and watch them yourself. I think it's a little bit of information, but let's say that you have one descendant has considered some skill considered healing. So most likely Eugene will have like a skill that's considered healing. Well, when you have this module equipped, you will be able to trigger it with a healing skill. So when you use that skill, it will trigger the particle conversion emitter and so on for the all of the trigger modules. So for example, meteor will get triggered if you use a projectile skill. Double strike will get triggered when you use normal AoE. Battering ram will get triggered when you use a skill with clash tag, right? I guess in game, whenever this update goes live, we will be able to see what tag the skill has, so that we don't have to like break our brains trying to find which. Um, but they mentioned that this clash is able to use with Kyle, Albi, SCMO, I think. So probably clash means like a skill that impacts on the enemy, right? So that's what they mentioned for the trigger modules. So remember, level 40 Descendant, level 40 Arc Tuning, 10 minimum catalyst on your Descendant, and obviously the item for the action field. To trigger them, you will need a specific type of skill tag with the tag, whatever the tag might be for whatever module you might have, and it will get triggered. However, the important part is that they mentioned that these trigger modules will have a random um, radius of like trigger. However, there will be player trading added in November, and you will be able to trade these modules with other players. So that's great news. That is actually huge news that they are adding player trading. That is what they're like. They mentioned that they are cooking with the player trading one to one. So we will see how that goes, right? But that's it for the trigger modules. They didn't mention anything worth. So let's get into the right topic, into the next topic. Sorry. Okay, so the next important part is they revealed Nell and her skills, also her attribute. So we're gonna be seeing a little bit of her right now. I think this they will show the trailer right now. Sorry, I skipped over it. And as you can see here, it has this skill that creates a ring, one that pulls, and one that is a projectile, right? So they also go on and explain all of her skills. So I'm gonna skip over it because I will explain to you like super fast. It's how they mention it works, right? So the passive. How does the passive work? Well, the passive is every time Nels uses the sieve scanner, which is your tab if you haven't changed the divine for it, it will mark the enemies with like this purple triangle, as you can see here. It will mark them, and they will pretty much just like take more damage, right? So it will just mark them. That's like her passive skill, and as you can see here, they show the tooltip for this. If vertical is on a weak point of a colossus, if this can will is applied to that weak point, right? So pretty much for the normal mobs, you just use you just use your sieve scan. They will be marked. They will receive more damage with your first skill. I will get into that in like a second. But this is uh, an effect they didn't mention. You can read it. It says if the reticle is on a weak point of a colossus, sieve scan is applied to that weak point. So this means that if you point your weapon towards a weak point, which is like the shoulders or the chest, uh, your mark will be triggered on that specific weak point, which obviously will take them, more damage. Then her first skill is pretty much just a projectile that works with the passive scan that you use for your passive skill, and simply it will make the enemies take more damage that are marked. It doesn't follow them or nothing. Sorry for that. It doesn't follow them or anything. It's just a projectile that goes straight. That's how they mention it. And that's it. Then her second skill is the Ring of Breach, which is a pretty normal skill. Sorry. It's just this, as you can see here, it triggers a ring of AoE damage that the longer it lasts, the more damage it does. However, you can reuse the skill to explode the area, and it will, as you can see here, it will make the cooldown way shorter. The third skill is called is called Gravitic Reversal, and what it does is simply that when you use it on pair with the second skill, it will uh, destroy the zone, but it will create like a black hole that will drag enemies to the center of it, right? That's all it does. Nothing like super crazy damage or anything, but it's really useful if you want to like shoot them all in one place with a gun or something. You will be able to do it um, with the third skill in conjunction with the second skill, right? So what does the first skill do? The first skill is actually probably her strongest skill. The first skill without any module makes all allies weak point shoots, right? Sorry, makes all like bullets for each ally a weak point. So that means a lot of extra damage from the weapons. So if you are a Serena or if you're a Clay and you use weak point, there it is, insane damage buff for you. And you can use just your skill one in conjunction with the first skill to extend the duration of your buff towards your allies. Also, Nell is gonna be a tech fusion non-attribute character. So start farming those reactors. Now they mentioned their transcendent modules. So the first transcendent module, restored heart, changes the skill 2, which now the skill 2 is a buff for your allies' shields, and your in the cooldown of your allies, like for their abilities, gets reduced if you trigger the skill again, right? So this means that if you use your second skill and then you re-trigger the skill to explode it, your allies get uh, reduced cooldown for their abilities. Also, if you use your second skill in the ring that it spawns, if your allies are near that, they will get a weak point damage buff whenever they are like near the zone, right? So that's pretty much about the Restored Heart Transcendent module is this is pretty much a support module rather than DPS focused. But they also showed her second one, which is called Shattered Heart. And as far as that goes, it's pretty much just like Sharon's fourth skill without any module. It like targets the the enemies and pretty much that, right? Like your fourth skill gets transformed into a multi projectile that targets enemies hit by the first skill. So nothing crazy over there, but that's at least from what they say, it's her DPS module. So who knows? It might be good, it might be bad. It might be better with a better off with no transcendent module. We will have to see, right? And now here they're showing her skills, her future skins. Sorry, as you can see here, they're gonna be releasing these two skins. This is her normal NPC uh, outfit she's using in the game, and this is gonna be her first skin in the game. Nothing like super crazy. I mean, the skin is really nice. I like it a lot, but like nothing like super crazy. This is her normal outfit for when she's like, you know, playable character. And I think that's about it for Nell. They didn't show anything else. So remember, Nell, Tech, Fusion, non-attribute character is gonna be a DPS support character, mostly based on gun damage. Keep that in mind. So yeah, gonna be launched with two skins, and she's really cool, right? We're gonna have to like see how her numbers are when we get the actual tooltips because they kind of like show, show them really weirdly, but we will see. Okay, so the next thing that they talk about is the addition of two new weapons for the game, two obviously ultimate weapons. The first one is the Eraser, and the special thing about this weapon, which is like also the sad thing about this weapon, is that this specific weapon negates the defense attribute or the defense resistance of the Legion of Breach. So pretty much this weapon makes the mechanic that they added specifically for the Axion Plains useless. So I don't know why they did that, but yeah, they're gonna be if you want to like be less annoying Axion Plains gameplay, you will need the eraser for this. That's how it will work, sadly. And other than that, the weapon doesn't look like super crazy, as you can see here on the screen. It's like an assault rifle, I think. Oh, sorry, it's a scout rifle because it has the green bullets. It's a scout rifle, so yeah, like nothing crazy. And they all also the other weapon they chose, well, they're gonna add is the exterminator, which is a launcher. And like the most unique thing that about this is that it targets enemies, right? It auto locks them in, as you can see here on the screen. And they also even mention and acknowledge that play will go like super hard with this weapon because of the unlimited ammunition, as you can see. So this is probably gonna be replacing the restored relic for Glay at least. We'll have to see depending on the weapon course that this gets, right? Because if this gets bad course, no one's gonna use it. So it's all dependent on the course. That's it for the weapons. They didn't mention anything else on the weapons. So we will get to the next topic, which is the battle pass. Okay, so the next topic is the battle pass. They're actually reworking how the battle pass works, and instead of giving us recolors, they're giving us an special, unique skin for the battle pass. As you can see here on the screen in the background, this is the unique skill for the new battle pass. They call it the battle pass 2.0. They also mentioned that we're gonna be able to level up the battle pass in more ways than just the seasonal tasks because I think they heard the feedback that no one wanted, well, that people complain about completing the battle pass in just one day. So they didn't want to do that to happen. So they changed it. We're gonna be having more ways to do it. And honestly, I mean, I'm really glad that we're now getting an actual skin instead of the colors. They also mentioned that the battle pass will not be increased in price because they said that there's a global like economic problem. So they didn't want to uh, increase the price of the battle pass, right? So the battle pass price will still be the same. And as you can see here, daily challenge section improvements, season challenge progression improvements, and battle pass XP allocation adjustment. That's it for the battle pass. They didn't mention like anything else super crazy other than that. And yeah, let's go to the next topic, which is I think the hoverboard. Okay, so here we have the hoverbike. And honestly, it's not like anything super crazy. Pretty much what they mentioned is that there's gonna be two versions. There's gonna be the red one that we're seeing on the screen, and this one, um, the red one is gonna be faster. We're gonna need farm the materials for the red one on at the Axion Plains. Um, like the silver one, the doodle one is gonna be attainable once we set foot in Axion Plains. So as soon as we start the new area, we're gonna get the, I guess, a slower one. But they mentioned that even if it's lower than the red one, it's still faster than any descendant, like any walking descendant. They mentioned that, so we're gonna have to see like how it works, right? As far as the red one goes, like I mentioned, we're gonna need to farm all of the components to upgrade our hover bike into the red one and be as fast as they can. And they also obviously are gonna be releasing a new one. Let me see if I can find it because they went. Oh, here we go. As you can see here, the speed bike and the balance type, right? So as you can see here, they didn't mention how we are gonna be able to get this one, but these are gonna be like the main bikes that we're gonna try to get. So an upgrade to. So yeah, that's it for the bikes. Like nothing like groundbreaking or crazy. They also mentioned that they're not planning to like add any type of like racing content, but they are planning to like make new dungeons that require you to use the bike on them, because they mentioned that sadly for everything, every activity outside Action Planes, the usage of the hover bike will be a little bit limited on them, right? So that you are probably not like speeding away in your hover bike. So yeah, that's it for the hover bikes. So let's get into the next topic. Okay, so here we have the new Colossus, the Wall Crusher. As we know, this is the first 8-man Colossus fight that we're gonna be able to do. However, they mentioned that it's not gonna be out there walking in the open world, meaning the Action Planes, but rather in a specific instance, as you are seeing on the background. He's like in a dome with the 8 players. So they also mentioned that the scaling he will not be harder whenever like 8 people are inside the instance, but they mentioned that it will scale on pair with like being 1 player or 8. It will be all the same HP, same defense, everything. So we're gonna have to see how much HP he actually has, right? And sadly, they did acknowledge that 8 Serena's just gonna demolish this. So kind of bad for that, but yeah, this actually looks like pretty fun. Like he's just like dropping bombs on you. And they also mentioned that for party group, Ajax is actually gonna be pretty useful because his shield is gonna be able to block the projectiles that he launches. And pretty much just like they want you to have more interactions with the boss by having other descendants other than just like 8 man Serena and killing him in like 10 seconds, right? We'll have to see. I'm just miming, but yeah, they mentioned that it would be really good if people use like Ajax and support descendants, but we'll have to see how it goes. We will have to see how the fight is, if it's annoying, if it's a cool fight, how long it lasts. But yeah, I'm excited for Wall Crusher. So let's get into the next topic. Okay, so for the next one, it's the Storm Hanger, which is a variant of the, oh, I forgot the name of the Colossus, but it's the last boss on the, it's the last Colossus on the normal mode. I think it's like Hanging Man or something like that. So this is the Void Abyss version. As you can see here on the screen, it actually looks pretty nuts. They did say that they did remove one mechanic of the original fight because it was annoying for the players. so it's nerf out of the gate, I guess. And these are the skins that are gonna be available for the ETA certificates, the green ones. They actually look pretty nice. I actually like these ones for both male and females. As you can see here, they're like a Power Ranger suit. You even have the shiny helmet, kind of. Here's for the males. So yeah, they look pretty cool. Obviously, we'll bring the toys, the ones on the back. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the, the new version of the Hangman. We'll have to see how strong it is and how fast it dies. But yeah, pretty. I'm looking forward to the skins. Actually, I'm gonna buy them. I'm gonna try to farm them. So yeah, let's get into the next topic. Okay, so a super fast change that they're gonna implement is the removal of the stats reset whenever you put a catalyst on your character. So your level will still be lowered to level 1. You will need to still level all the way to 40. However, your stats will no longer reset to level 1, which means that, for example, if you are upgrading Ines, your MP will stay the same as level 40, so you won't lose the extra crit rate for losing MP. And that's pretty much it. Like, you're gonna have like HP based on your level 40 version while being level 1. And that's one change that is welcome. It's kind of weird how they're doing it this way, right? It sounds kind of weird. But yeah, that's what they're doing. So the removal of the resets whenever you use a catalyst on your Descendant. Okay, so this is great news for the new or returning players for Season 3. What they're adding is this thing called Descendant Boost Up. And what does this mean? Well, this means you can now auto-complete all normal difficulty quests, obtain a level 40 Descendant, receive boost of gear and auto-equip settings, begin Sigma Sator traces of the Vulgus fleet. So this means that you will be able to get all the story pretty much done by just skipping it. Uh, be able to jump right away to level 40. I don't think they mentioned this boost up gear and how to keep settings worked, but I mean, probably just like some modules, some free modules, probably like a whole build or anything. I don't know. And the Sigma sector, obviously, this is the quest for the Sigma sector. So they're pretty much trying to put to get the new players or returning players on par with the people that have been playing. And I think this is a nice change, right? Uh, because honestly, the normal content is kind of like boring a little bit. But yeah, it's a really nice change. Honestly, really welcomed. And they also mentioned that it's gonna be event based, and you can still do the story, and you can just choose like whenever you actually want to skip it. So if you are like into the game and actually like it a lot, you will be able to complete the story normally. But if you want to skip it, you will be able to. Sorry for that. So yeah, I mean, it's a great addition. So let's get the next topic. Okay, so here they are adding this thing called Descendant Boost Path to minimize the overwhelming experience of just boosting your character, right? So how this will work is that whenever you use the boost, the story boost or the story skip, you will be able to get this Descendant Boost Path. As you can see here, it says new boost path exclusive quest added. Gain essential gameplay information, develop descendants and weapons, and obtain ultimate bunny. They mentioned that they're pretty much doing this to try to like combat the overwhelming experience of boosting your, skipping the whole story and systems information and everything, so that you can get like a more straight path of information on how how to like put catalyst on your descendant, put energy activator on your descendant, put cores on your weapons, put modules, right? So this descendant boost path is gonna be implemented to combat that overwhelming experience, pretty much. Now, obviously, they showed a lot of skins during the whole dev stream, and these are coming like really soon, July 24th, and it's a rabbit, like bunny, Playboy bunny skin. Sadly, my thing with this is that it looks like everyone is gonna have their own, so it's gonna be really expensive if you want to like own multiple of them. uh they're obviously only gonna be done for the female descendants, right? Because money. And as you can see here, it has this new emote added into them, into the skin bundle. And obviously this is like something that we will be able to do uh, for the pool that they are going to be adding into Albion, right? This is like one of those emotes on the hot springs, but this is the singular emote that we're going to be able to buy with the bundled skins. Kind of sad that, like I said, that they're doing each one for all of the descendants because it's going to be really expensive. So if your wallet can fund it, then be my guest. They're also adding this H1 racing suit skin, obviously for the hoverbike theme. So as you can see here, the male one is like a biker suit, and the female one is like a really, you know, they went crazy with it. They didn't. I mean, I have no words. So yeah, like this is how they look in games. At least the male one, and this is how they look with the emote and from the back. So yeah, I mean, new skins August 7th. This is as soon as the season 3 launches. So if you want to buy them, this might be for all of the females and all of the males. So I might grab this one. I will have to see how it looks dyed with certain colors, but overall, pretty good concept, I guess. Obviously, they're adding premium skins for Ines and Enzo. Honestly, the Enzo one looks really nice. I like this one a lot. And Ines is getting like a lot of skins. So I'm not gonna lie, Ines is getting like 5 skins, new 5 skins for Ines. So nothing wrong with that. Obviously, as you can see here, this is how it looks on game. It doesn't look like super crazy, but I really like the Enzo one. I'm still not gonna buy it because it's $20 for a skin. It's kind of expensive. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, if you like it, there you go. It's a skin for Enzo, a skin for Ines. They're also adding a summer skin for all the females. This also looks like it's gonna be for all of them instead of each single one of them, with a skin for the dogs. I mean, this is your pretty normal summer skin that almost any game has, that has like summer theme skins with the shorts, the crop top, and usually it's like sandals, but now they use like socks and shoes, coming all the way until August 21. So it's a little bit late August. But as you can see here, they are previewing more about the pool that we're gonna get in Albion, and probably this is gonna be like one of those emotes that you can do on the same as the hot springs one that we got. And yeah, I mean, I guess nice skin. If it's for all of them, I'm gonna look into maybe getting one because I prefer to pay $20 for a skin for all of them instead of just 20 for each single skin. But that's just me. And this is the concepts for the future upcoming skins, skin lineups. As you can see here, this is Sharon. This looks like, I mean, this is obviously Ines. This might be Serena. I don't know. This is obviously Luna. This might be Ultimate Luna Premium skin. This is Ines. I mean, they go crazy with this one. I told you, like, Ines is getting like so many skins for like some reason. Well, not for some reason. She's probably the most popular character. And some biker skins. And obviously another fellow skin, right? So these two look like they're gonna be shared among all the characters. I mean, obviously this one male characters, this one female characters, and the other ones each single character that was shown, right? Uh, this might not be Ines. I don't really see her face, so whoever it is, she's getting a skin. um, and this is the new concepts for the future skins that they're gonna be adding to the game. As you can see here, we have a polar bear, some Christmas theme skins. These really like casual one. This like Battle Angel, probably for Serena. American football, cheerleader. This is like a mechanic bull. I don't know what it is. Oh, we have close-ups of them. So as you can see, we're gonna be this one actually looks pretty nice. I like this one. I like this concept a lot. This is probably gonna be Serena premium skin, most likely. Cheerleader, probably all of them. Oh, it's like a Frankenstein male, bull male. I don't know what it is, but looks pretty dope. And obviously succubus skins or incubus. I don't know. I think succubus. For the females, this one is gonna go crazy. I think everyone's gonna be getting this one. So yep, that's it for the skins. I don't think they showed any other skin in the game. Oh, never mind. Near collab is after this. But yeah, I mean it's pretty nice concepts, I guess. And this is the new trailer. I'm gonna play it all because honestly, it's just like a trailer, so I don't really care about the trailer. But this is how they look in game. They are showing, as you can see here in the background. That's the 2B normal skin on the back. That's the 2B broken dress skin. Oh, in the zoom, right? And the jiggles, of course. And this is the A2 skin. It also looks like they're coming with weapon skins, obviously in the emotes, but I don't know if they're gonna be doing for the weapon skins or if it's gonna be like a backpack. Probably a backpack instead of the skins, right? So yeah, I mean they look pretty nice. I think even though this is Ines, it will be really dumb for them to only release it on Ines instead of all of the Descendants, but we will have to see, right? So yeah, I mean they just use Ines model, I guess, for A2, but they look pretty nice. Obviously, banger skins, banger collab, and let's go to the next topic. Okay, so for the next topic, this is the launch that we're gonna get for season 3, uh, which is like the resting area. We're gonna be able to interact with the like do some specific emotes with our descendants pretty much. And they also show that you can get like some decorations for it. As you can see here, this is the Balvis helmet with like an aquarium. You're gonna be able to get like these figurines to be able to decorate your lounge specifically for your tasters. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a okay addition. I'm not like super crazy about it, but I'm not against it. It will be really nice. I don't know if like other players will be able to visit your lounge or if it's gonna be only private to you. We will have to see. I don't think they mentioned anything for that. But yeah, this is pretty much for the lounge. So as you can see here, the next thing that they mention is the sword. Well, the swords system. We have now two previews of them. One really big, and the other one is like smaller. They also mention that they are releasing a new Void Vessel map with a new boss that has a sword. And they mentioned that this new Void Vessel map is gonna include a long path that you can use your hoverbike so that you have more variation and doesn't get boring as much. Here is the boss close up, and that's it for the Void Vessel. They didn't mention like anything like super crazy. Now for the new Descendant, obviously we're gonna be getting no other than Harris, the NPC, as you can see here. They mentioned that she's gonna be a skill focused Descendant and she's gonna be using her like robotic arms. I think she looks kind of different than the NPC that we have right now, but it might be because she's now a Descendant. So yeah, they didn't say like anything other than she's gonna be skill based Descendant and she will be after Ultimate Eugene. Now for the most important part of the whole thingy, we have now the roadmap for season 3. Uh, Sadly, there isn't like a super good angle that we can see all of it. So I'm just gonna go through it, pausing. So as we know, August 7th, season 3 launch, we're gonna get Nell, Axion Plains, Wall Crusher, Near Automata Collab, Hoverbike, trigger module, right? So everything that was mentioned at the start, we're gonna get it on August 7th. Then September 4th, we're gonna add Launch, you're gonna add Ultimate Luna, and more like trigger modules, skin for the Husky. So sadly, September is gonna be like slow month for the first Descendant. Now, all the way until October, we're gonna get the sword or melee system, the new Void Vessel, the new Void Abyss Intersect Battle, more trigger modules. And as you can see here, this is the most important part probably for most of the roadmap actually, which says addition improvements to amorphous material opening methods. So this means that probably we will now be able to open them somewhere else that is not the Colossus fight, or maybe they will allow us to open more at the same time. Who knows? But this is actually quite big. Looking forward to this. Um, for the for November, it's actually going to be the next huge launch of, huge content update. We're gonna get ancestor modules. We're gonna get player-to-player trade module. Only modules, sadly, but we're gonna be able to get them the trade. Uh, Supermassive receptor dungeon by the vessel. We're gonna get the new Descendant Harris, new collab. They didn't mention anything about the new collab, but we're gonna be getting a new collab for November. A new sword, Hypernova, I guess. And like honestly, this November is probably the second month for the season 3 update that we're gonna be looking forward to. And for December, I think the funny thing is that they're adding a launch 2.0, so which probably means that they're gonna add more interactions to it. Maybe you will now be able to like, who knows, like watch your descendant take a bath or something like that, something crazy, right? And obviously ultimate Eugene, sorry. And yeah, more trigger modules, I guess, and mutant cells. So we're gonna be able to get like crazy power during the whole season 3, at least all the way until December. Um yeah, that's that's it for the video stream. Honestly, there wasn't like anything other than this. Sadly, uh they just were like showing some anniversary gift workshop, but obviously the events are once the season 3 launches. So we will get more information once we, you know, are closer to season 3, or at least in season 3, and I will make like a video on that. So yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys like, at least I will put the timestamps if you're interested in a specific topic. So yeah, thank you for guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.